Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Steinauer, and today I want to talk to you about how you can reduce your nearsightedness or myopia or keep it in check. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about how you can connect with us. If you're local, you can call us at 618-288-1489. If you're not local, go to our website at visionforlifeworks.com, and you can do one of two things. You can click on the questionnaire and fill that out, get some input back as to maybe what's going on with your vision, or you can schedule a consultation directly with me. Now let's go into, I think I have 7, just referring to my notes. I might do that throughout this video to make sure I keep myself on track. I have 7 different things I want to talk to you about, what are really good tips and tricks to reduce your myopia, even maybe control some of the astigmatism that you may have, and making sure that we kind of stay symmetrical. So number 1 is posture. And posture is super important whenever you're doing activities. So you want to make sure that you or your child is not slumping or slouching over things like their book. Definitely make sure they're not doing things like this whenever they're reading or they're writing in school, because they're covering up an eye. I know that my marketing person is absolutely going to love this video. She's going to take that, and it's going to be the picture that she uses for our thumbnail. Anyway, so if they're doing something like that, they're blocking out one eye, that's going to potentially cause them to get more nearsighted in the eye that's not seeing or able to focus quite the same. And so it makes it harder for the 2 eyes to work together as a unit. So posture is really important. Number 2, you want to be able to use a slant board whenever they're reading or whenever you're reading. What I mean by a slant board, if you don't have something that you get maybe at like IKEA or Costco, some of these places have them, but it's going to be usually some sort of a plastic device that kind of comes up at an angle. You can put your book directly on that. If you don't have that option, you can get either a 3-ring binder that's about like 2 to 3 inches thick, preferably like a 3-inch thick one works better. Put your book and things on that. You know, people get really ingenious with how they attach them. They've used rubber bands and different things to attach it and keep it in place. If the child is doing homework and, you know, they're writing for long periods of time, having something up at a slant is actually a really good idea for reading and writing. And what's really interesting about this is that it will help not only with the posture and how they position themselves, it will help them not to slump and slouch over things, and it can also help them with like better handwriting. Now with handwriting, if they're doing a lot of it, I wouldn't recommend that you're doing that on a 3-inch slant. But if they're doing a little bit of writing, that works. If not, if they're doing a lot, you want that to be flat on the desk. And we can also talk about how you position your paper. So what's important about that, I'll just grab this paper right here, and instead of putting it way off to the side over here or directly in front of me, you actually want to have it kind of in line with the point, like towards the middle of your body here. And so if that's kind of at the point and a little bit sideways, it goes in line directly, kind of diagonally with when you put your hand down on that. It should be kind of right down the middle of that page. And just so I can show it to you, it looks kind of like that. Okay, so let's see, what's number 3? No reading in the dark. So if your child likes to read at nighttime in their bed, make sure that they have good lighting. The more that they have like natural lighting, bright lighting, it's better for the eyes. If they're trying to read in the dark or in the car, that's not so great on the eyes. And along with that is also, there's some studies and information out there that talks about how if you leave a night light on in your child's room, it might actually set them up for being nearsighted. Having a room that's totally blackened and darkened out can actually do a whole lot better. What's another one? So number 4, no reading from things on your side. So whether or not you're in bed and you're trying to read like this with your book, maybe you actually like to even watch TV and lay on your side. Or if you're a person who's working and has multiple computer screens, make sure that what you do is you square yourself up in front of what you're looking at, whether that be the TV, a book that you're reading, or a computer screen. So you don't want to just do something over here off to the side. That makes one eye not focus as hard and the other one focus much more much harder. It's a lot more difficult for that eye to focus. So therefore, that eye that has to focus harder, around, farther, will actually become more nearsighted or have more astigmatism potentially. So make sure that you square up and you look straight on with something that you're doing. That's another tip. Number 5, take frequent breaks from your devices. So if you're on computers a lot or on phones a lot for your business or for school or for work, you need to have a really regular break schedule. This is where it gets hard. So if you can control this and your child doesn't have to be on these devices very often, even if they want to be on those devices often, keep it under wraps, particularly for your kids that are under the age of like 5 years old. Minimal screen time, minimal. The more time that they're on screens and devices and playing games, the more likely they're going to have problems with their vision. Not only nearsightedness, but things like strabismus or eye turns develop very easily. So your older school-age child, you want to definitely give them some time with devices because they might enjoy it. It might be a breakaway, but you want to limit that and curb that time. Probably you want to do that in 30-minute increments, which is better. Obviously, the older they are, the less control you may have of that as they start to have their own devices, and it might be rough to monitor it, especially if they're going to other places with them. Try to have the rule of every 30 minutes they take a break and they walk away from it from at least 30 minutes. You know, try not to do those long sessions of playing video games for like 7 hours at a time. That's really hard on your child's eyes, and we don't recommend it. Now for the adults who maybe your job is on the computer all the time, try to take every 30 minutes a break where you just look out a window, get your eyes to kind of stop their over-focusing up close, relax and look at a distance, you know, stare at a building or a tree or something from far, far away, and try to kind of let your vision and your focusing muscles just relax so that you're not staying over-focused here all the time. I know that might be hard, and also try to limit your time on devices afterwards. I understand I'm on mine a lot for the business, so do absolutely the best that you can. If you have strabismus problems with the eyes, like crossing particularly, it's really important that you try to monitor your screen time and take frequent breaks. All right, so now let's see, where are we at here? Breaks from devices. Oh yes, okay. So for kids, particularly if they're starting to wear glasses for the first time and they first started becoming nearsighted or having astigmatism, make sure that they have separate glasses for reading and near work. The glasses they need to see at distance are not appropriate for what they need to see for focusing up close. So you will go a long way to slowing down or stopping their myopia in its tracks if you actually have a separate pair of glasses for them for reading and near work, particularly whenever they're doing lengthy amounts of work in school, at home, reading and doing homework and that kind of thing. And for adults too, you can also have a separate pair of glasses for reading near work and computer work. Highly recommend you'll keep the nearsightedness a little bit more level and balanced. Last thing is that when you do go into glasses or contact lenses for the first time, you want to pay attention to whether or not there's a big discrepancy between the two eyes. Ask your doctor to try and balance that as much as is possible so that you don't have one eye like less nearsighted and the other one a lot more nearsighted. When you're going into the lens prescription for the first time, if they just keep it balanced and do kind of the same prescription. So let's say, for instance, a -150 on the right, a -150 on the left. Even if maybe there's a little bit of a difference, like maybe this one needs the 150 and this one needs like a 2. I wouldn't really give this one that asymmetric amount, because what tends to happen as soon as you start to go asymmetric with the myopia or the minus lens prescription, or even with the prescription for astigmatism, then you start getting kind of off balance, and it usually drives the train of myopia even more. Now sometimes, in some cases, there's nothing you can do. You have to kind of be a little bit unbalanced if there's a really big discrepancy between the two eyes. And there are times whenever I go a little bit unbalanced because it's required for my patient, but I try to keep them balanced as much as possible. So as the parent of this, or you as the patient looking at it, just look at the numbers. You know, do the numbers between the right and the left eye look similar, or are they really vastly different? If they're vastly different, ask the doctor if there's a way that they can try to make them more similar between the two eyes. And even if you feel like, well, it's not too bad. You know, if I look out there with my right eye, that's pretty good. But if I look out there with my left eye, it's a little bit off, but both eyes together is great. You know, even if one eye sacrifices maybe just a little bit in eyesight and you're balanced out between the two, it's actually a lot better of a system and will kind of slow down the progression of the nearsightedness. Okay, that's it. That was my 7 tips for trying to control a little bit about nearsightedness or myopia, and even controlling a little bit of astigmatism. Now, if you liked this video, hit that like button, pass it on to someone if you feel like it could be beneficial to them. Also, make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you get all notifications of all of our videos. Thank you.